So I know I'm a little late on covering this, and this was news from a few days ago, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents because LeBron James, as he usually does, came back to Ohio for the summer. He was spotted playing some golf in Akron, he was at the Cavs practice facility, and as every offseason has gone over the last 5 years, the Cleveland media got bored, linking LeBron to possibly coming back one last time to finish off his career riding into the sunset. But LeBron quickly shut down those rumors, saying, "Y'all are so bored. LeBron is not going anywhere. The timeline does not even make sense. He's going to make $60 million this year in LA. I'm not saying next year a final return ain't possible, but it's not happening this year, and it wouldn't even make sense for him to." But I will say, as a big LeBron fan myself, which is a lot different from the norm somehow, I know why people do, but I find it ridiculous how many people genuinely hate LeBron when he delivered the only Cleveland championship all of us will ever see in our lifetimes. Literally, as a Cavs fan, I cannot imagine if the Cavs failed to win it all this upcoming season again, and then LeBron came back at age 41 and finally helped them win. That would actually be insane, and the haters would have nothing left to say for the GOAT debate. In fact, there would not even be one, even though Jordan fans will never give it up. And I'll get to the GOAT debate at the end of this video because I just think it is such an interesting discussion. But the Cavs right now have no money to pay LeBron, so he can't return. He's not going to get bought out by the Lakers. He's not going to sign on a veteran minimum deal. That would not make any sense. He's still an elite top 20 player in the league. In fact, you can argue with the stats and the efficiency that he's top 10 or even top 5 in some categories. So the Lakers aren't going to eat his money and create a salary cap mess this year while not even having his services. I know the Lakers are ready to move on and build around Luka, but why would you not want LeBron on your team for another year? It's just free revenue. It's going to be jersey sales. Every game's going to sell out. Well, I mean, they're going to sell out with Luka, but you get my point. You're not just going to not want LeBron on your team. That would be stupid. And also, with competent center play, I actually think the Lakers are contenders if Reddit can get everything to gel. And as for the Cavs, the only way to get LeBron would be to trade 2 of the core guys because of the apron stuff. And we know that would never happen. In what world would it make sense for 2 young stars to get traded for a 40-year-old that is on his way to turning 41? You wouldn't. I know I'm not the highest on Garland because he is the softest point guard in NBA history. Same with Allen at center. But after winning over 60 games, you would never blow things up. But next year is where this scenario could come true. LeBron recently joked when he said that he could play 5 to 10 more years, but the crazy thing is, it's probably not even a joke, it's probably true. I guarantee he could at least play 2 to 3 more years, playing around 20 minutes a game in the regular season at an elite level. His shooting efficiency has gotten better and better as he's gotten older. He still every now and then will turn back the clock and drive and blow by everyone. He still has showed that he can be the fastest player on the court. His body preparation and longevity literally has to be studied. It's unreal. The next offseason, the Cavs could totally pull off a minimum sort of deal to bring him back. That is if he would want to make one last return to Cleveland, which I think he would, because I will say he definitely is all about him and being in the spotlight. And a return to Cleveland would capture the headlines for the entire season, and everything would be about him. And if he's on a minimum veteran deal, he would barely even have to play in the regular season. The Cavs could just say he's out of the rotation and play him in 35 games, and then he could start in the playoffs and bring Cleveland another championship a decade later, because we all know the Cavs need an elite small forward. I'm feeling a little better about the future and the current situation with DeAndre Hunter, but LeBron, man, I really hope it happens, and I think it's very realistic next year. But anyways, right now, we need to focus on 2026, and with the East being wide open, the Cavs need to be on top of the Eastern Conference. There are no more excuses. Everyone is injured. They are healthy. They are coming off a 60-plus win season. They need to step up. The bigs need to be more physical. They need to stop playing scared. Garland needs to be out there in the playoffs. He needs to be healthy. The Cavs have got to get it done. They have to play with some pride and just find a way. Alright, now as I promised, before I end off this video, let me get to the GOAT debate. If you've watched any of my videos about this before, then you know my stance, but the older generation has got to stop holding on to the nostalgia. I think there are good arguments both ways, and honestly, it's such a stupid debate because there are so many factors that go into the different eras they played in. But if we are looking at this debate from a basketball standpoint, LeBron is better at almost everything. His longevity was better, he's a better passer, he's definitely a better scorer, he leads NBA history, he was the better rebounder, and you can even argue he's the better defender as well, especially in those prime years. And I know what all Jordan fans say, this is their generic comeback every time. They say 6-0, 6-0, and while that's completely valid, basketball is a team sport. And Jordan fans love to point out the wins, but they completely ignore all the times that Jordan lost in the first or second round when LeBron literally spent a decade straight going to the finals, which in my eyes just cancels out the whole entire argument. And LeBron has had very unlucky moments in terms of his career in the finals. In 2015, Kevin Love had his shoulder popped out of his socket by Kelly Olynyk. Then Kyrie broke his knee. That was a winnable finals if even one of the two was healthy. And then after they won in 2016, Kevin Durant was a snake and joined the Warriors, which was complete BS. I just think the ring argument is stupid. LeBron is the greatest player of all time in my eyes, but I'm curious to hear your arguments in the comments below. I don't really care if you think Jordan is the GOAT, that doesn't bother me, but I just can't stand Cleveland fans that hate on LeBron. I know it just has to do with his political stances and him saying things that did not need to be said, and how involved he tries to get in places where he shouldn't be. But in terms of basketball, he delivered his promise. He got Cleveland its only championship since cavemen were a thing. He's the greatest athlete of this generation. Anyways, getting back to what's going on with the Cavs right now, the Lonzo Ball trade officially just went through. I saw the post on Instagram, and Kobe Altman spoke to the media about it in a short press conference. Here's what he said, and I'll just directly quote him. "We are very excited about this opportunity to acquire someone with the skill set and versatility that Lonzo Ball brings to this team. We have built a team for sustainable success, and finding a way to improve around the edges has been our focus this offseason, and the addition of Lonzo represents part of that process. I would also like to thank Isaac Okoro for his professionalism, hard work, and the true grit he brought to the court during his 5 seasons in Cleveland. We wish Isaac and his family nothing but the best in the future." And honestly, as a diehard fan who's been around since the beginning of this rebuild, it kind of hurts to lose Isaac because he really was one of those guys that just constantly brung grit to this team. I'm not saying he was the best all-around basketball player, but he was a guy who definitely cared and gave his all day in and day out. But this trade had to be done, and I am super happy to get Lonzo Ball. Ball is coming off his first season back from 2 years off from injury, playing 35 games where he averaged 7.6 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 3.3 assists in just over 22 minutes a night. And with a new opportunity in Cleveland, he'll have a fully healthy offseason ahead to get right after a season of getting his feet wet in Chicago. And as for Okoro, he now finds his way to the second team of his young career after 334 games played and 238 starts in Cleveland since being the team's 5th overall pick in 2020. Through that span, he averaged 8.1 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 1.6 assists. I'm really excited about what's ahead for the Cavs because of some of the recent moves and also the fact that they are the only healthy team in the East and the path to the finals should be wide open. Now, it's all about execution. That's really all I have to say for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below, and let me know what you would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.